For nearly 80 years, one currency has quietly ruled the world, not through force, but through trust. Wars have been fought, economies have risen and collapsed, but this system never changed, until now. Because across the world, countries are starting to move away from the United States dollar, and the shift has already begun. Part 1. How the dollar took control. It started in 1944 at the Bretton Woods Agreement. After World War II, the United States emerged as the world's strongest economy. The deal was simple. The dollar would be backed by gold, and the world would use the dollar. This made the U.S. the center of global finance. But in 1971, everything changed. President Richard Nixon ended the gold standard. The dollar was no longer backed by gold, yet the world kept using it. Why? Because of oil. Through agreements with countries like Saudi Arabia, oil would be traded only in dollars. This created the petrodollar system. And from that moment, the dollar wasn't just a currency, it became power. Part 2. When money became a weapon. For decades, the system worked. But then, the U.S. started using that power more aggressively. Sanctions, financial restrictions, cutting countries off from global systems. The turning point came in 2022. After the Russian invasion of Ukraine, the U.S. and its allies froze billions of dollars belonging to Russia. Russian banks were removed from SWIFT, the backbone of international payments. This sent a shockwave across the world because suddenly, every country realized something. If it can happen to Russia, it can happen to anyone. Part 3. The shift has already started. And quietly, countries began to adapt. The group known as BRICS, including Brazil, India, China, Russia, and South Africa, began pushing for a world less dependent on the dollar. Real changes followed. China and Russia started trading energy in yuan and rubles. India began buying Russian oil using alternative payment systems. Central banks around the world started increasing gold reserves. Even oil markets began to shift. In 2023, China brokered deals where oil was traded in yuan instead of dollars. This may sound small, but for a system built on oil and dollars, it's a crack in the foundation. Part 4. Why the dollar is still strong. And yet, despite all this, the dollar still dominates, because replacing it isn't easy. The U.S. has the largest financial markets in the world. Investors trust its system. Global trade, banking, and debt are still deeply connected to the dollar. Even countries trying to move away from it still rely on it. There is no true alternative yet, not the yuan, not gold, not any single currency. Part 5. What happens next? So what happens now isn't collapse, it's transition. A slow shift from one dominant system to a more divided financial world, where multiple currencies compete, where power is more spread out, and where the dollar no longer stands alone at the top. This won't happen overnight, but for the first time in decades, the foundation is being tested. The dollar built the modern global system, but systems don't last forever. And right now, the world isn't abandoning the dollar. It's preparing for a future where it might not need it as much.